Okay, to start out with, before you want to work on the fuel pump, you want to make sure you depressurize it. So, on the inside of your panel, you've got positions of where all your fuses and relays and whatnot are. Provided you have the same year of Corolla 2019 that we have, it'll be the same fuse for EFI main, but that's what you'll be looking for is EFI main to remove. This is our position here. It's the bottom 20 amp fuse right there. Go ahead and we'll get the tool, which is positioned over here, as long as somebody didn't already lose it for you. And you squeeze it, pop your fuse out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just turn it over for 5-10 seconds. Okay, that should be plenty. Okay, so now we're going to take off the negative battery cable. Obviously, don't mess around with the positive. It's not a good idea because you can easily accidentally short from here to here and cause sparks. So it's always best to do your negative cable because your body, your chassis is grounded, which is the negative side. So loosen him up, pop him off, set him to the side, tuck it so it won't make contact with your battery again. Okay, so as you can see, we got the base cushion out. Anyways, so this is the cover for the fuel pump assembly. And earlier, Toyotas looked like they used bolt to hold it down with a seal, and these, it looks like all they're using is the typical old butyl, which is super gooey and sticky. All right, so now we got to pull the cover off. That covers your fuel pump. We've got a grommet that goes through for the wiring. We're gonna have to probably pop that anyway, just to make it easier to flip out of the way. So just went ahead and popped it out real quick. And this one is, these newer ones don't have any sort of screws to hold them down. Oh wow, this was pulled off by the dealership when they did the recall. And they didn't really make a whole lot of attempt to put it back down properly, apparently. So let's try and get around the other side here so you can see a little bit better. This is where the dealership told me, they did a smoke test and they told me it was leaking out of here. So when they did the recall, apparently they did a poor job. So that's what we're going to do, is replace the pump assembly out. You got to unplug the connector, which, wow, that's a beast. This is kind of like working on a Nissan, which they suck, by the way. So with a little bit of fighting here, I used a tool against the tab to press on it and unplugged it real easy. This is the reason I popped the grommet out. It's easier to take the cover and put it completely to the side, and it only takes seconds to pop that out. So then you got a lot less in the way here. So anyways, so now we got to take off the vapor and then the pressure side. It's depressurized, so this should not have any fuel coming out of here when we release this, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get a surprise. Hopefully not. So pop out the yellow clip. Got 90% out and it fought me. Okay. Now we want to take this out slowly. I think I'm going to get a rag just in case. Sorry about the offensive Honda information on the back shirt, but there's Toyota too. So that's a rag we're going to go ahead and stick over the pressure line when we just pull it up. Okay. I didn't get any burst of fluid, so that's good. Alright, so let's take a look. Yeah, I don't think we had any, the tiniest bit there, so good. Depressurizing worked great, so we don't have a huge mess. So I've seen people flood their cars with this. It's not really what I want to do. Yeah, I guess you can't get the line out of the way very well. So the next one we got to release is our vapor side. Now I've done these before on the vapor canister. Use the exact clip on the other side, so it's pretty much the same as the yellow clip. Gotta use a bigger screwdriver. It's kind of like using a bigger hammer. It's usually more beneficial. Okay. Bugger. There we go. I don't remember if they slide off. Yeah, they do. Okay. With the clip half off, so that's fine. Just tuck that out of the way. Now it's time to take the ring off. So I've seen people use like a block of wood or a piece of wood and then tap it with a hammer to take it off. Okay, so typically a strap wrench will take something like that off. It didn't work in this case. Seeing as how the guys at the dealership already damaged the vapor spout here with, I don't know, cutting it with something. They're obviously idiots, and they probably used their tool to reinstall this, and I'm guessing it goes on the teeth all the way around the ring, so they probably tightened it as hard as they possibly could. So in my case, it wouldn't come off because the recall was done by a moron. So maybe yours will come off with a strap wrench. I went ahead and sprayed it all with WD-40 around the ring to try to loosen it up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead, just for my own sanity, and make a mark here so I can see what my starting point is, so I know if I'm having any success. And I'm going to use the old hammer and wood trick, see if that'll break it loose. If that gets it loose, then we'll start worrying about trying the strap wrench for a while. Okay, so after banging on it for a while, we got to a point where one of these tabs got up against the little triangle, so make sure you don't bust your tab off. So this button is here to stop this from unlocking more than like a quarter turn at the most. So you want to make sure you push that in when you're going past here. So we got to a point where we're just about able to take it off by hand, so we're going to go ahead and use the strap wrench for the rest of the way until we can take it off by hand. So I went ahead and ran it around, and now we're at a point where it kind of grabs. It's not the best still, but you know, I'd rather not hammer on it all day long. I don't want to break the ring. So here we go. Now we got her. Now it's out. So we'll float. Okay, by now your car's probably started smelling like gasoline, but the last thing you want to do is make a huge mess. So be real careful taking it out. And you might even be best to get yourself a bucket, because you want to let this thing drain down. So it's draining right now as I'm holding it. So hopefully I'll learn on this one the right way to take this out so I don't damage the float. So there's still a bunch of gas. Feels like it's hanging up on something. Yeah. So what's it hanging up on? Is there a direction I need to rotate it or something? I don't know. Doesn't sound very happy though. The float sounds pissed. Yeah, it was hanging up the whole way. I don't know what the solution is going to be to getting that. Alright, so yeah, I think we're going to get a bucket for this. Okay, so you want to get your O-ring off your old one. Most likely you got a new one with your pump. I did in my case. Actually, my O-ring is way thicker than that. I hope that doesn't turn into a problem. I'd say it's like 50% thicker than this one. That's kind of weird. So I'll throw that out. You want to wipe down the surface real good. You don't want to leave any garbage, dust, dirt, anything on the surface, because that might cause a leak, and that's the whole reason I'm here in the first place. It might not be the reason you're here, but it's the reason I'm here. So I think mine was due to that gash that was on the vapor tube. Yeah, Toyota dealers, I guess, you know, they're the best. That's why we're doing the work ourselves today, right? I'm also going to apply some lubrication to the threads so the cap goes on a little bit easier when I go to put it back in. I don't want to have any issues with getting it snug, and I don't want to have trouble getting it off next time. So we're going to get it as clean as we can, and then we're going to lube it up a little bit. And probably the secret to this might be to lube your ring the night before. Spray it with WD and let it sit all night, so it's, you know, ooh, nice, just got some dust in the gas. That's always good. You don't fill your gas tank with dust. It's best not to do that. So as you can see, I put the original O-ring back in thanks to the aftermarket part that I got. Came with an O-ring that was too wide. The diameter was too big, so it wasn't going to work. So try the approach. Hopefully the O-ring stays, because this factory O-ring didn't really want to stay. I was kind of unhappy. The O-ring's still in place. Looks like it is for now. Of course, by the time I actually set this down and it touches it at all, most likely the O-ring will pop up. And then I need to put the ring on. So we'll just set it like that and hopefully it won't disturb it. We'll get my ring, my retainer ring, which I lubed up with WD-40 already and wiped it down real good. So hopefully it'll go on real smooth. Yeah, bad part of the camera, so I'm doing now. Okay, so I'm going to hold this in place and I put the retainer ring on. Hopefully. that line was originally over in this region. So we can assume that it probably should be in about that region again, or at least close to. And I figured with it lubricated, it would go easier. We are going to strap wrench it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the nipple. Make sure it's nice and clean. Let's get the vapor line out of here. Wow, he's tucked in there nicely. Maybe we should have had that not tucked in there. All right, I want to make sure that I don't have any dirt directly on my seal. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to use a pinky. Nothing else is going to fit in there. Make sure I get it cleaned. I don't want any dirt on that seal, so that I get a nice seal. Because like I said, my whole problem with this was I'm having a small leak in my system, and I don't want to have any possibility of dirt because it'll potentially cause the small leak. Wow, this is ridiculous. Try to get on angles wise. Okay, I think we're in position. Yep, we're in position. Good, good. I'm going to take out the protective cap. We're good there. Take our rag back out of here. Careful not to get a bunch of dirt in there again. You know, just once is enough. Again, I would like to clean this side out, but I don't think I have anything that'll even really fit in there, so I'm just going to put a little bit of shirt in it. Try to get any dust or dirt off there. Okay, so I went ahead and set my clip right on the very edge here. It's kind of hard to put in when the hose is already in there, so get it right set on the edge so it's not interfering. Put the hose in fully seated, and then start your clip in. See, yeah, that was definitely the way to go. And now it's retained. All right, next step, we're gonna run the harness through the cover. Pop that through. Get that plugged in correctly.
You're supposed to say action. Okay. I keep pressing the button for no reason.
Okay, I think that's probably clean enough. That'd be in the blooper reel.